That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. Now this line appeared in H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. What does it mean? Well, I can easily look it up on Quora with my iPad, or I could simply say, we'll find out with this board game by CMON. And for myself, I'm a huge fan of H.P. Lovecraft. But as for this Kickstarter campaign, there's some terrific promos, and this is one of them. Let's take a look at this. It's the Scarlet promo. As for the figure itself, she's nicely secured into the box, so no worry about transportation. Let's get to the meat. Let's take a look. Slowly, carefully, it comes apart. We have the rule book. I will have to take the time to read this, and true to Chaosium's game, Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, insanity is a huge aspect. You don't want to go insane too fast, but it's expected because, like Lovecraft's literature, no one comes out with their senses fully intact. We have an interesting little placard here. And tile art. Now this is fantastic, and of course I left this unsealed, but now I will open it up with my fingernails. Now here comes all the characters that appears. There's a total of 10, and in the expansion even more characters. So we have Sister Beth, John Morgan, a Wild West figure, the Kid. Of course, we always need a kid victim in this world. Sergeant Ian Wells. Now, who is he about? Let's see. Sergeant Wells has many stories about his missing arm. It's rather auspicious already. For his brothers in arms in the Great War, it was a German artillery shell. For civilians, it was a sniper. But for fellow investigators, he need spin no tall tales. It was some goddamn cold born by hell beastie that swallowed by hand grenade and all. Sergeant Wells is a master of giving back twice as much as he gets. Pain sharpens his aim, he says, and if the scars and burns that cross his body are any indicator, his aim is perfectly lethal. Ooh. Let me start playing with this character more than the others. Of course, we have a nod to Lizzie Borden. We have Ahmed Yazin, and he's a doctor of the occult. Of course, we need Rasputin. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Rasputin is perfect for Call of Cthulhu. The era that these stories originally came from is more than appropriate. Now let's quickly find out what's in the second package, and I will do this right. Let's just do this quickly. We have Josephine Leclerc, no doubt based on a certain burlesque singer. Marcelo Gonçalves from Salvador, Brazil. We have another professor, Vincent Haas. We have Walter Baggett from the Sudan. We have a voodoo character by the name of Pop Stupron. Should we be surprised with Albert Einstein being included here? Of course, we need Ernest Hemingway. Fleur de Bois. Tina McShane. Mackie Smith. And just quickly reading this, yes, she's a teenager and she's carrying a gun. Seems odd for the time, but well, you have to keep yourself safe. You have your characters all nicely packaged in here. As you go around, knife. Now it's good to know that with this game, the packaging is customized to vacuum seal or form around each individual figure. Let's pull out Lizzie because she's my favorite. Okay, let's take a look at what else is here. Let's unseal the second layer and hope nothing falls. Now this is why I bought this game. I mean, just look at these guys. The things you can do in plastic is by no means far superior than the early days of miniatures. Scale is everything here because the more smaller it is, the more difficult to get in these details. We have your grunts, your minions. Enough said. So what do we have here? I'm gonna have to cheat because I'm not that good with all my characters. And let's turn this upside down so I can see and watch everything fall around. As time allows, I will be painting them, and my imagination can easily go wild in how I want to color this. I can have shades of iridescent purple, yellows, greens, and oranges. Not necessarily those particular colors, but I have to respect the color wheel theory at least. And here's the big thing that we want to look at. Now, I must admit, I did not spend the extra money for the full size figure, which measures probably from down here to about up here. But for the small scale one, of course you have your mandatory information cards and tiles. We have Mini Cthulhu. He's good. I like him. Or I can have him slightly bigger. Yeah. Almost to scale. Going up against an investigator. Just a thought. I think the smaller scale version is slightly better than the big one for the simple reason it's all assembled. I've seen a video of the big guy and you have to put the wings on. That can be an issue in terms of fragility, especially if you're traveling with the complete game to play at a friend's house. I would say the better option is to invite your friends over. Make sure you have a dining room table to play this game in. I do recommend investing in a proper travel case. Don't bother using these original boxes. I have one, but it's all for my audio gear. What's in the other figures? Hasser. Now I really look forward into painting this particular character. I mean, how can you not like the king in yellow? It's going to be tough to find anything wrong with this game. You are buying it for the reason of playing in a H.P. Lovecraft world where terror is running afoul. There's no way to escape from it, and that's why death may die. The unspeakable box. What can we find in here? Should I actually speak of it? Do I dare? Should I try? Well, let's see. According to the contents, you get more figures. You have Yogg-Sothoth, you have Dagon, and Lost Episodes. And let's see what the expansion episodes are all about. Yogg-Sothoth, Dagon, more cool characters, which I am yet to open. Where's that freaking knife? That knife disappeared on me. Okay, I'm doing it the hard way. Here we go. We have a ton more characters I can play with. And yeah. So we have Happy Birthday, I Lost Episode 3. Well, it's a happy birthday to me for owning this game. Yeah, that doesn't work. My birthday was 2 months ago. Let's take a look at how they've depicted the Mi-Go. I've seen various depictions over the years by different miniature manufacturers. Ratham back in the days were terrific. I still have maybe 3 or 4 left hiding somewhere, but they did not have that viscosity, so which makes the monsters look. Yeah, they're a bit too humanoid for my taste. Let me go. I mean, compare that to the pictures, artist depictions in books. I mean, they're a reasonable compromise. Now the Yithians, I say these are bang on. It's exactly as how they are described in Mountains of Madness. Dagon, the king of the sea, the monster who swimmeth in the deepest, darkest depths of the oceans where Godzilla doesn't want to go, and I know, the two are to have a face off. My vote's still for Godzilla. A card a soft spot, card a weakness, but here's Dagon. Here's Godzilla. Wrong Godzilla. Facing off this Godzilla. Who will win? What would you say? Oh, that's Space Godzilla. Godzilla. And Space Godzilla. And Mini Godzilla. Who would you say would win? And these servants of the deep, I don't know. They're servants of the deep. They're mermen. And we have Yorkshire Thoth. Now, what's a Mad Piper? I'm wondering. Wasn't that Yorkshire Thoth? Yes, I believe that was. Yorkshire Thoth comes with Wilbur Whately from the Dunwich Horror. Now, out of all the sculpts I've been looking at, Yorkshire Thoth is perhaps the most complex to build. I'm looking at this up close and oh my gosh. I mean, you have every palpitation, every orifice and middle finger that should be pointed out. Now for the expansion pack. Oh my gosh. Again, I removed the plastic so there won't be too much of a glimmer or shine. I just do marvel at this white packaging. I want to laminate this baby. I want this to look pristine. What do we have in here? More standard figures and more cards to add to the game. But yeah, let's just take a look at it. More tiles, more double-sided tile cards to place your characters in situations. I believe this is for your character cards. Let's move this to one side. So what happens is that this character side sleeves right in. And let's just get this aligned right. And that pops. Perfect. I don't have to laminate each of these character cards. You get a bunch already. But yeah, let's look at some of the main older characters. Now, why am I thinking Dark Crystal? This guy looks like he should belong in Dark Crystal. Then H.P. Lovecraft's Dreamlands. No, the Dreamlands. But yeah, we got some wonderful new creatures. So what stories do we get in this expansion? Well, they're from season 1 and season 2, and they're like episode 4, 5, and 6. So with episode 4, we are going to the shootout at HP Corral. Oh dear, I hate to think of how Cthulhu ties into that. We have the end game, Story Avengers. We have Monsters in Sin City. This will be an interesting one to play. We also have The Unspeakable Hour, episode 6. But what other figures do we have here? Now these should be the Me Go that I'm craving. It should not be humanoid looking, but more like dinosaur like. Okay, these guys are easy to identify. Who doesn't love the night gaunt? This is the night gaunt I've been craving for the longest time. Use a heat gun and just reshape the wings. So they're not just folded deeply in, but instead just floating. But I wanted to pull out my Peterson's Guide to the Cthulhu Mythos. It's unusual that we have not, this expansion has not identified all the figures. Just to admire the quality and the design of these figures is enough for me. And like I said before, finding the time to paint them all. The bigger it is, the easier it is to get it right. It's like, oh my gosh, Hellboy has competition. The Mighty Dole. Yes, between him and him, you don't want to be digging under the earth. And that is it for this unboxing video. Thank you for coming.